All right, you guys, I think it looks like we're live. All right. I'm waiting for that Facebook notification too, just to make sure we are good to go. But I've got a notification that we're live over on Periscope. So, hello if you're in the Facebook chat right now. Hello, welcome. It's been a long time, Spoon, since since we've done this, but since I've done this, our last live stream was on the night after, right after the game.
Chicago game,
on Sunday, so it's been a little while. Yes, all right, looks like Facebook is good to go. Hello if you're in there right now. But yeah, so it's been some time. It has. So what's new with you, Spoon? What's new in life?
It was nice to have 2 days to spend at home. Rare 2 days in a row. LaFleur gave them off Tuesday, and I think he just had them in for conditioning or something yesterday. So now it's back in the grind with Monday night coming up, and you know, I'm ready. I'm ready for football. Let's go.
Do you start twitching a little bit? There hasn't been football in a number of days.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I get impatient for the games sometimes. You know, it's fun during the week to come up with ideas and preview everything, but to me, it's all about the games and the live blog. So that's what I have the most fun with doing.
Love the live blog, and yeah, it's true. I think you can only watch film so many times of games past. It's time to move on to the next thing, right?
Yeah, and the Packers have been a hard team to write about because every week it's the same thing. They play just good enough to win. They never play great. They never play, well, I shouldn't say never, but rarely play horrible. So the storylines are pretty much the same every week. I think it'll be a little different Monday night. I think this is going to be a battle of attrition. Who can last and exert their will.
Well, the Packers are already winning the battle of attrition before the game in some ways, especially just in general when it comes to the health of the team. The Packers, I mean, listen, right now, the injury report, I know we like to talk to you guys about that, but really everyone's healthy. There's some minor things there. Yeah, but on the other side of the ball, with the Vikings, they're both Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, both of their running backs, their first and second string running backs, didn't practice today. Yeah. And with Cook, it's been reported by ESPN that he won't even be available for Monday night's game.
Yeah, and the interesting is they listed his injury as a chest injury, and it's been said that it was a shoulder. I wonder if it's not unsimilar to what happened to Jake Kumaro when it's actually his shoulder, but it's in the, like near the chest plate, or there's an area in there and you can bruise that, and apparently it's really painful. So I don't know if that's what he did. And, you know, of course, Mike Zimmer's lips are sealed. But either way, even their third string guy, Mike Boone, and then they've got Mir Abdullah, the old Lions guy, you know, they ran the ball pretty good without Cook. And it'll be interesting. They might be able to run it against the Packers. They're sure going to try.
Sure. No, for sure. And looking on the other side, the Packers' run game, that has been something that has gotten going. Aaron Jones got much more involved in the run game, not so much in the pass game and in games recently. But especially in the red zone, I think Aaron Rodgers pointed this out today. One of the reasons that the Packers have been able to get going so well in the red zone, and if this offense is actually really good at anything, it's executing in the red zone.
Yeah, they get down towards the end zone and they score. They score touchdowns. And
one of the reasons Aaron Rodgers said that it's been doing so well this season is because they are really riding the run game when they're down there.
Yeah, you think about it, it's a matter of having options. And so if you're just going to be a passing team, it's much easier to defend there. It's a condensed area. You don't have as many options in the pass game. If you got a little bit of play action threat, ability to run outside and spread out the defense a little bit, it helps you a lot. And Aaron Jones gives you that. And then, you have those plays like that 21-yard touchdown run. You've got to be aware of him at all times. So that does play a big part in red zone offense.
Hello to everybody in our comments over on Facebook. Joe says if the Packers don't feed Aaron Jones the ball, the Packers can't beat Minnesota. We've said this over and over again, and even Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers have admitted to this. Aaron Jones is a large part of this offense's identity.
Mm-hmm.
That's a word that the team doesn't really like to put a label on. I think we as the media want to be able to find something that, when asked, what do the Packers do well,
mm-hmm.
we should be able to point to something, and we're not always able to do that. However, when Aaron Jones gets involved in this offense and he's touching the ball as much as he physically possibly can, the offense tends to perform.
They're pretty good, yeah. It's also, Aaron Jones is really good on turf. You think back to some of his best games. I mean, Dallas was his best game, and indoors, on turf, he's really good. Problem with the Vikings is that they're going to close down everything really quickly because they're really talented, they're fast, they get off the ball because of the crowd noise, and so your blocking has to be really precise. You can't have a lot of, you really can't have errors. But if you can get, just enough of a crease for Aaron Jones, he's gonna hurt you if you don't close down those gaps. So that's what they have to do, is find ways to just get some kind of crease for him to run through.
We'll keep talking about the offense here, guys. John asks, will the Packers activate Ryan Grant for the game on Monday?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that Tom and we were just discussing
mm-hmm.
off camera moments ago. It's been a topic that you guys have discussed, for weeks now since Ryan Grant has been on this team. It's been over 10 weeks now since they acquired him, around the same time Devontae Adams was out with the
mm-hmm.
turf toe injury. So with Grant, you talked to him. We both talked to his wide receivers coach, Alvis Whitted, earlier this week. What's going on there? Why can't he get off the bench?
Well, it truly is a numbers issue. So if you activate Ryan Grant, you have to take one of those wide receivers out. And so are you going to sit Valdez-Scantling? Maybe, maybe they should sit him down for a game and let him just watch from the sideline. Chances are they're not going to do that just because of his speed threat. And one of these days he's going to catch one of those deep balls. They're not going to take Lazard out, besides the fact that, he's one of their top receivers. He's a great special teams player. Kumaro is a really good special teams player, so they're not going to take him out. They can't really – I don't think Ryan Grant is a special teams guy, and so there's issues with that. And they'd have to sit down one of the other wide receivers. Who's it going to be?
Mm-hmm. So not looking so great for Ryan Grant. Might just be insurance at this point if a receiver is out.
Yeah, it is, and that's why they've kept him. I also, it's going to come down to, do they want to sit Valdez-Scantling? And, so far the answer has been no. After the Bears game, I don't know. We'll see.
Gotcha. We'll switch into Pro Bowl talk. Josh he says, Aaron Jones and Zadarius Smith not getting Pro Bowl nods is crazy to me. It was a tight race, I would say, especially among the running backs who got in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, in my opinion, I don't mean to crush your comment, but no, I don't think it's crazy that he didn't. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's got to be in there. Ezekiel Elliott has had his typical year. I mean, there's plenty of running backs. That's not a travesty in my mind.
It's competitive. Excuse me, but with Zadarius Smith in particular, David Bakhtiari in the locker room today called him out, saying he's really shocked that Smith, the best player, he said, on this Packers team, offense or defense, didn't make it in.
Yeah, that's a curious one. It's always hard when you're an edge rusher because there's so many good ones. The T.J. Watt, the Bosa brothers. I mean, you could just go on and on with the number of people, but his numbers are as good as anybody's. You could match his numbers with anybody, and he really should be in the Pro Bowl. Bakhtiari, on the other hand, couldn't get in the Pro Bowl when he was having his best years. This year, he's not having near as good a year as the years he didn't get in, and now he gets in. That's kind of how the Pro Bowl goes. And I also wouldn't make too much out of the Pro Bowl anymore. It used to be more of an honor, but since the fan voting became a third, it's a popularity contest. And it's even a popularity contest with the players. Really, I think it should just be coaches who pick the Pro Bowl team. You know, it makes it a little more objective. The All-Pro team is picked by writers, and I typically think that that's a better gauge of who are the best players in the league.
That all being said, one of the reasons why the players care so much is that there are bonuses involved when it comes to making the Pro Bowl.
Heck yeah.
So it's still important to them for that reason.
Yes, and it's, you know, it's a free trip to Orlando or wherever it's going to be, and it's it's just an honor. I mean, it's something you put after your name. I made a Pro Bowl.
I'm sure it's been a dream of many young football players out there to make the Pro Bowl, so not to knock it at all. Josh wants to know if we are concerned, or maybe if the Packers are concerned. We are never concerned, but are the Packers concerned about this offense in the playoffs? Do they feel like they have all the pieces there? They're just not all gelling together or firing at the same time? It seems to us, or it seems to me, like we have not seen this offense play at its best yet. It's hard for me to recall one game where I felt like the offense across the board was all playing very well together.
Here's the thing. Maybe they are playing at their best. I mean, maybe this is who they are on offense. They've got talent, but it just could be that this is the offense they are in 2019 with first year in Matt LaFleur's offense. Or maybe their lack of talent at receiver beyond Devontae Adams and the tight ends is a reason why they don't score 30 points a game. I think we have to consider that I think people are waiting and waiting and waiting for them to score 50 points or 40 points, and I don't think they're that team. I'm pretty convinced that they're not, and I think we'll learn. I think the coaches will learn more, and I think we'll learn more after this game. If they get just shut down, then I think we know who they are. If they have this breakout game offensively, then we know what their potential is.
When you look at the New Orleans Saints of the world, the San Francisco 49ers, heck, the Packers lived that game against the 49ers.
Yeah.
You look at those teams, the Packers have to be a higher scoring offense if they want to have any sort of success in the postseason. So for that reason, if I'm the Packers, I'm a little bit concerned about the offense.
Absolutely. I'm happy that they score. You know, if I'm them, I'm happy that every time they get in the red zone, they score, that they don't turn the ball over. That's going to be crucial in the playoffs. And that the defense, you know, typically from a scoring standpoint, I think they rank like 9th in the league. They don't give up a ton of points. They give up a lot of yards, but they don't give up a ton of points. So if you can generate any kind of an offense, you might be able to go somewhere in the playoffs. But, you know, as I said, we may just have seen what the best of this offense is so far.
And that's not to discredit what they've accomplished so far. This is a year one offense.
Yeah.
But that being said, the expectations have changed since this team started performing as well as it did this season with what their record is. The expectations changed because now they've clinched a playoff spot and they're going to have an opportunity to make a run for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're an 11-3 team. Okay, so now you have to prove that you're an 11-3 team. You've gotten this far. Now you have to beat the other 11-3 teams, and it starts with, Minnesota's not 11-3, 10-4 Minnesota, but this is the first game. This is a playoff type game. At least the caliber of team they're playing is playoff caliber.
So Michael, switching over to the defense now, Michael wants to know if Rashan Gary will get more opportunities on Monday night. He had his first sack since his actual first sack against the Denver Broncos in week 3. It was a while, and we all know, and we've all been told that sacks are not the most important thing. It's all about putting pressure on the quarterback, getting to the quarterback in some form. And Rashan Gary, I think, has looked a little maybe slow in his development this season so far.
Yep.
I don't know what the signs you've seen have been in his development leading up to where we are now in the season and what your read on him is. So what is it?
I'm sure it was encouraging to the coaches that on his sack, he used a combination of pass rush moves. He didn't just try to run through the tackle. I think when we're talking about an increase in playing time, we're talking about his playing time versus Kyler Fackrell's. Because Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith are givens. They're playing 90 to 95% of the snaps, and they're going to do that in the playoffs. Everything else is nickel and dime, maybe when those guys take a couple of plays off, certain situations where they'll have 3 linebackers on the field, usually that's dime. I think they've done it based on matchups. Some guys Fackrell matches up to better and he gets more snaps. Sometimes it's Gary. But I do think, they feel like Gary will be a special player. And maybe they saw a little bit of a flash of that. Question is, can he do it continuously? And I wouldn't necessarily want Fackrell out of the game in this environment too. I think he's one of those guys that succeeds on turf as well because he's quick. So, that we'll have to see whether which one they favor more. But I think it's week to week.
All right. Well, he's got a lot of his career ahead of him.
Yeah.
It's his first season, and he's a rookie in the NFL.
It is. Yeah.
He's got some time to develop into a position especially one that he wasn't really playing in college.
Yeah, and we can't predict what is going to happen. I mean, there's guys that have so much talent, and you're waiting, and it never happens. And we'll see whether it happens with him or not. But they did get a really gifted player. That we know. All
right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We always appreciate it, and your respectful, thoughtful comments down there in the Facebook chat. We do appreciate it. Make sure you head over to PackersNews.com for lots of Packers news, more updates, also over on social media as well. So make sure you're following us there. Have a great